camera. Um, see, this is what I'm talking about, charging. See, so what am I going to do right now? What am I going to do if my electric car that your new president is out there trying to promote, what am I going to do? I'm going to hold the cord out here in my apartment and run it out to my car and charge it overnight?
Well, bugger me, we might actually have a subject to talk about with CC that he might have some knowledge about. Cars. In this case, electric cars. We'll ignore the first bit about that your new president's trying to push, because let's not forget the billions of dollars that Trump pushed towards electric cars. But hey, you like Trump too much to think about that. So let's roll an intro and see how much he's going to cock this up, and see if it's as bad as his flat earth cock-ups. Now, considering he's a professional driver, you would hope he's got some sense. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, I am the Sarcastic Barman. Welcome to the channel and welcome to another video on CZ, because you all seem to watch the hell out of last week's video, so hey, let's have a bit more of a look at him. And cars apparently this week, and I'm sure there's going to be flat earth stupidity in here somehow, but yes, cars. Electric cars, in fact. And wow, I watched a bit of this video and he really does dig himself a very big hole. But I suppose we better let him talk some more before we start pointing and laughing at him.
No, it's all bullshit. It's crap. Look, you will never have an electric car, unless if you want to buy it, of course. The car companies will always try to come out with something that's electric. BMW has already. I think Audi has.
Hang on. You'll never own an electric car unless you buy it. Now, I'm sorry, but I think a big part of owning something does come in the buying of something. So, maybe, yes, that's how things work. And to reflect on your earlier point about charging, it's, well, why don't you moan at whoever operates your building and says, why haven't we got electric charge points outside yet? Why are there not 3 or 4 on the side of the road so people can have electric cars? There's government grants to put the charge points in, even in America. I know America is lacking behind, say, Europe or China, because I think only 2% of your new car sales are electric. Whereas you look at Europe, newly registered car sales, it's 10%. China, it's about 5%. So people are obviously buying them.
Hyundai, I'm not sure. I think they're behind on that one. But Honda, I mean, electric cars are shit. There's no market for it.
Really? They're shit and there's no demand? Whew. It's a very broad statement. I mean, I know you're a professional driver, so you should understand things about cars, and we should probably listen to you. Apart from the fact you're a flat earther and half the stuff you say is downright moronically stupid. Now let's just have a sort of estimate of car sales for 2021. It's about 66 million. And then there was about 6.5 million electric vehicles sold included in that. So around 10% is apparently no demand. Obviously, that is a demand of sales. As them being shit, why do you think they're shit? I mean, a 200-odd mile range is ideal for most people, and yes, a lot of places you can now charge them. My local Tesco's, I can go and charge. Sainsbury's, Morrison's. I don't think the Aldi and Lidl do, but even the Waitrose main car park in the centre of my city, there is charging points. So I can go do my shopping, charge. Some office buildings in the UK have charging points, so you can charge while you're at work. Ideal if you can't charge at home. But there are grants available for charging points to go in. You have grants available in America for charging points and money off your tax bill at the end of the year if you buy an electric car. So, what?
Okay, no one's going to buy an electric car. They depend on oil. We all depend on oil. And when your gas prices go up to $6 a gallon, when it comes down to June of 2022, you're going to say, why?
Now I think anyone who's got an electric car at the moment is probably laughing at fuel prices, because they don't really affect them. Electric prices, yes. Fuel prices, no. Now, if we look at the rough pricing here in the UK, you're looking about £7 if you're going to charge up at your local supermarket charging point, which will get you around 100 miles, give or take. So we'll say the £107. No worries, we're estimating here. Now, if you're going to do the same in a car, if you were getting 50 miles per gallon on average, which a lot of people don't, you're still looking about £14 for that same sort of amount of fuel. So, yeah, half the price to have the electric car. And considering the prices of electric cars now aren't that bad, especially with grants and things like that, it is definitely worth moving to an electric car. Hence why 6 million of them were sold last year. And that was before the huge price increases on fuel. And yes, they are coming to America now, these price increases on fuel, so you're going to be hitting it just as hard as we are.
So you're going to turn around and just buy an electric car? I mean, what choices do you have? Let's take a look. Okay, you got BMW. Okay, now BMW is going to cost you about $120,000.
$120,000 for a BM. Wow. Though I do feel like you pulled that number out your ass with no sort of looking at all at it. So, yeah. Especially it seems you can get an electric BMW starting from $55,000. Duh. And that's, don't forget, before your federal tax credits come off the car. And that could be up to $7,500 again. So, yeah, they're not that much more really for a top-range car than they are for a top-range car. So, no, not 120,000. Stop making shit up. Stop being a douche canoe.
Tesla has 3 choices. Okay, one's about the lowest one. The cheapest one is about $40,000. But you have to buy a power station with that too.
Wow, you actually got a number right. Yeah, Teslas start at around 40,000. They're also the 16th most popular car in the world currently, which is a bit scary when you think about it. But no, you don't have to put in a charging station for your Tesla. Now, you are a bit of a downside being in America that you're the 120 volts rather than 240, so charging time is very limited then, that your trickle charge is just going to take forever. Now, if you do install one though, it's going to cost you between $1,000 and $7,000, which top end is a lot. Bottom end would be covered by your tax credit that you get for buying the Tesla to start with. There used to be higher grants on the Teslas for things like that, but unfortunately because they've sold over 200,000 models in the US, that their grant total came down. But I would have a look, especially in New York, where you are, Westchester County, as we all know. I would be very surprised if there wasn't grants to get a home charging station installed, or that your building could take advantage of having home charging stations installed at the front of the building at dedicated locations, so 6, 7, 8, whatever cars could charge up. I'm guessing you don't have a car park for your building and you just park on the street. Still a possibility to get them installed there. They have them over here. Are you that far behind at this point?
But you have to have a house in order to put that power station in. Because if you live in an apartment building, they're not going to allow that in there because that could cause a fire. Remember the skateboards that exploded?
Then get your building to install them on the street. I mean, it's only a standard 240 connector. Your tumble dryers, don't they, in America, run on 240 volt? You have a special outlet for them? Or am I wrong on that? Any American people down below, let me know. Because, yeah, your electric's just crazy. So, yeah, get them installed on the street. Get the building operator, manager, company, whatever, to install them there. There are grants available for this. I feel like we're going to go round and round in circles on this shit.
That were powered with these lithium batteries. Maybe you don't remember that. You might have forgotten about that. See, it's not going to happen. It'll never happen. We'll always be dependent on fuel.
Except you won't be always dependent on those sorts of fuels because they're running out. And eventually they're just going to become too expensive to extract what is left of them, that people won't be driving petrol and diesel cars because it won't be economically viable for people to do so. The only people who end up owning them will be stupid rich people who have got the money and don't care because they've made lots of money off selling petrol and diesel to people for years and years. Isn't that a weird twist of fate? But yeah, these things are eventually going to be, no, gone. As more and more renewable energy sources come online, more nuclear reactors, more wind farms, solar plants, hydroelectric facilities, geothermal facilities, everything like that, it's going to bring the cost of creating electric down further and further and further. Meaning that, hey, it's much cheaper to own an electric car. I mean, it's cheaper to own one now, and there isn't much difference really on the price. If you live in a city and you're only doing, say, 10, 20 miles a day, and you have a charging point in your apartment building or at your work or at your local shopping centre, why would you then own a petrol one? Because it's not worth it.
The first engine that came out was powered with gasoline. So Ford decided to end electric because he had all this money inside of this particular item, and he ended it.
Now, electric cars back when Ford was basically starting mass production of cars wasn't really a thing. I don't know if you know this, but batteries and things like that wouldn't really run an electric car at the time. If we'd have started looking more into electric cars back then, by now, yeah, we'd probably have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles on range on cars rather than just 2, 3, some have got 4, but that's pushing it. So, no. And just because something was done like that 100 years ago doesn't mean things shouldn't change. In theory, if you go back, whoa, look, the first trains, they ran on coal, so why should we change to going diesel electrics or anything like that? And I think that's a cunning little silly point there you're not getting as well. Look at trains. Trains started on coal. Steam engines, sorted. Then went over to basically diesel electric, so they've got a diesel generator in the train, creates electric, because you get better power from the electric ones. And then you look at some built-up cities, areas, things like that, overhead electric wires or under electric wires that they're taking the power from because electric is much more efficient. The fact you don't have to oil your Tesla is probably a great thing as well for end of life of the car. Now, we could go down the road of all the batteries and shit like that and how crap it is digging them up, but I don't feel like you're going to brush on that one. You're just moaning, I think, because you can't afford a Tesla? I don't know.
And he squashed electric engines. He ended it. And he made us dependent on oil. And that's what this entire country is all made of. And that's what's running this country. And that's what's running every fucking price and every fucking war that's going on right now. Because it's all bullshit. It's all about oil. It's all about energy. The next crisis is energy. And that's all it is. It's about that.
Yeah, I don't really have much to argue with there. The next big, probably, crisis is going to be an energy crisis. And that'll obviously depends on what governments and things do when it comes to where you're getting your next set of energy for. And possibly seeing the restart of building of more nuclear power plants and all that shite. Because energy is going to be a key factor in moving forward as a civilization, really. And we've got to get past food price rising crises at the moment, because prices on everything going up, really. It's worldwide inflation and it's not good. But yeah, I've got no real points to argue with there. That's a fecking odd one. I'm sort of agreeing with CC. Jesus Christ, I need a drink.
Don't you understand this? Can't you see this? That's what it's all about. It's also about Flat Earth too, but...
How has energy prices, car prices, electric cars, any of this got to do with flat Earth? I mean, we all knew it was going to be fucking coming, but Jesus. So, obviously me drinking this beer is because of flat Earth. No, it's because of your fucking stupidity. I'm not downing a full pint again on stream. Later.
I'm just saying energy, and the big companies are making billions, trillions of money. Pharmaceutical companies have just, you should have, I should have, maybe you should have invested in something in pharma, because they're now trillionaires.
There are no trillionaires. Jesus.
Anyway, look. You gotta wake the fuck up. And if you don't, you're asleep. And if you're trolling me right now, you're so asleep or you're paid. That's how it works.
Well, I'm definitely awake, but I wish I was being fucking paid.
Okay, so let's take a look at the palaces in Paris. Well, they were apparently constructed in 1843.
What? How have we gone from electric cars, flat Earth to... Yeah, so the palaces in Paris. What the fuck are you on about? I feel like should be a completely separate video that we're going to have to look at. And I'm thinking 1843, so that's after Bonaparte. So I don't think really they were building many palaces then. And also, which palace are you referring to? Because I thought, well, maybe the Louvre. No, that's well before then. I can't think off the top of my head of a palace built in the 1840s in Paris because monarchy. Whatever. Yeah, we're gonna have to come back to that as a second part because this video's gone on for ages already, and I feel like the second part's going to include all the stupidness. That I do have a message for CC. I doubt he'll ever see this, but if anyone wants to go to his channel, if he's really, because he said in the bit I've cut out, I'm like postgraduate on my knowledge of flat Earth. Really, if you want to come and test your flat Earth knowledge versus what we actually see and the understandings of the real world, and come and have a chat on my channel as a chat, informal debate, whatever you want to call it. We can arrange that, not a problem. I mean, I think it'd be quite amusing just to see what evidence you think you have. Because, yeah, I do promise, though, I won't take the piss. Much. I may also be drunk. But you then get to show up a drunk person calling you an idiot. And if I can't respond well, then you get to win. Don't know what you'd win, but yeah. Oh dear, I think that'll do for tonight because this video's gone on far too long. Thank you very much to members, Patreon subscribers, everyone who makes these videos possible. Don't forget to leave a like, a comment, all that jazz, because it really, really does help with everything. Hopefully we'll have another live stream on one of the Tuesdays soon regarding Ukraine. We'll see what's going on there. I thought I'd leave it this week because I don't want to jump on the bandwagon of Ukraine week after week. If something happens and I want to talk about it more, yes. Otherwise, let's just keep trying to laugh at flat earthers and go, the fuck? And this video definitely was the fuck. Because you didn't really have a point to make. Whatever. It was all fun doing it, and I got to have a drink. So I'm not complaining. Thank you very much. Good night.